Welcome to video number 45. Today we're going to talk about defiance as it relates to God. This is a very important subject, so please, if you're at all interested, pay close attention to what is said. So I asked AI if humans were innately defiant, and this is what it said. Yes, humans possess an innate drive toward defiance. Psychologically, this stems from the need for autonomy. When rules or systems remove our sense of control, we instinctively push back to assert our free will. However, this trait manifests in both destructive and deeply constructive ways. The need for autonomy. Psychologists note that the desire to say no or resist external control is a core human instinct, known in developmental psychology as counter-will. It is most visible during childhood and adolescence as we learn to separate our identity from our parents. In adults, this surfaces whenever strict rules or mandates make us feel cornered. Constructive defiance, progress, and resilience. At its best, defiance is the engine of human evolution and survival. It drives us to defy nature. We build shelters, develop medicine, and create technology to overcome the harsh limits of our natural environment. Defy injustice. Rebellion against oppressive systems, corrupt authority, and inequality pushes society forward. And finding meaning. In the face of tragedy, the defiant power of the human spirit allows us to endure and find purpose despite unbearable suffering. Destructive defiance, rebellion, and chaos. Conversely, this same trait can lead to unnecessary conflict and resistance to logical, helpful systems simply because we dislike being told what to do. It can result in antisocial behavior, a disregard for social norms, or defiance for the sake of proving independence rather than achieving a better outcome. The bottom line, while we are deeply wired to cooperate and fit into social groups, our instinct to defy arises the moment our freedom feels restricted. It is a double-edged sword that is responsible for our worst power struggles as well as our greatest leaps in progress. So, that's defiance. Let's go to this other page here. And I asked Scripture, and I believe I spoke about this in an earlier video, but it bears repeating. So I asked Scripture, does Scripture indicate that God wrote awareness of his existence into every human heart? And this is what the AI said. Yes, Scripture indicates that God has embedded an awareness of his existence and a general sense of his moral law into every human heart. This is frequently described as general revelation, meaning that knowledge of God is available to all people, regardless of whether they have read the Bible. Key scriptural points supporting this include Romans 1:19 through 20. Paul explicitly states that what can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. He explains that God's invisible attributes, namely his external power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived in the things that have been made, resulting in human beings without excuses. Romans 2:14 through 15. The text explains that even Gentiles, non-Jews, who do not have the written law, often do instinctively what the law requires, showing that the law's work is written on their hearts, and their own conscience bears witness to this inborn knowledge. In Ecclesiastes 3:11. This verse mentions that God has planted eternity, a sense of divine purpose, in the human heart, a longing that nothing on earth can satisfy but God himself. And finally, Psalm 19:1 through 4. The heavens and nature itself are portrayed as declaring the glory and handiwork of God to the entire world without words, making this witness universal. Scripture further suggests that while this innate knowledge exists, it can be suppressed, ignored, or seared by human disobedience, or defiance, if you will, leading people to ignore their innate awareness of their creators. Romans 1:18, 1:18, and Timothy 4:2. Okay, so those are the answers from AI, and AI is pretty well versed in these things. So let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Specifically with me, I have absolutely been defiant throughout quite a bit of my life. I think that in my heart, I've broken all 10 commandments without question. And the fact that I'm an alcoholic, even though I've been sober for 33 years, is proof that I'm defiant and obstinate and rebellious. And I'm not the only one out there, because there are plenty of people in Alcoholics Anonymous, and there are plenty of people in the churches. And we don't go there because we feel like, it's just a place to go. I mean, there's sociality involved in it, don't get me wrong. But in and of myself, I'm selfish and self-centered in the extreme, though I usually don't think so. And I know a lot of people that are likewise, and they're not even in AA. So, the bottom line is that God has written proof of his existence into my heart and into my surroundings. He's also written the Bible, and he's written the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and he's written the 12 and 12 of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I believe, in fact, I'm going to go so far as to state I know are written by God, the creator of the universe. And so I don't really have any excuse. There are plenty of materials out there. There are the churches, and there's the Alcoholics Anonymous program and all the other addictive programs out there that are based in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So then it comes down to, I have a choice. Because it said right here, Scripture further suggests that while this innate knowledge exists, it can be suppressed, ignored, or seared by human disobedience, leading people to ignore their innate awareness of their Creator. I'm guilty. I'm absolutely guilty. In fact, I'll put up both hands. Okay? And the fact that I'm still here is a testament to God's mercy and his grace and his loving kindness and his generosity and his incomprehensible patience. And I know that there are others like me out there. And I'm hoping that some of you will see this message and really take it to heart. It's important. It's important because my eternity is at stake. And for those of you who don't believe that there's going to be one or two places where I go after I pass away, I'm sorry, but you're going to have a very rude awakening, or a very pleasant one way or the other. I really hope and I pray that you have a really wonderful awakening, because eternity is an incomprehensible period of time. And it's not something to be played around with. It's not a game. This is real life here. And if you don't believe me, just take a look around. Life, even for the most blessed of us, if you will, is not easy. I know people that have lots of money that have lots of difficulties. And I know people that don't have lots of money that have lots of difficulties. And I know everybody that I have met, that I've gotten to know, have had struggles in life, both physical, financial, emotional. This is not a rose garden, if you will. This is an arena where my soul is at stake. Your soul is at stake. And I need to really wake up to that reality because, like it or not, we are in a spiritual war. And it's an all stakes spiritual war. And the stakes are my eternity. So please, please heed the warning. I'm not a preacher. I'm not anything. I just feel led by God to make some of these videos because they were directed to me by spiritual counsel. And as you can see, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber or an influencer. That's not my goal in any way, shape, or form. My goal is to do the will of my Creator. And I firmly believe that He is authorizing this video tonight. And that possibly through me, He's pleading with you to take this message very seriously. He loves you more than you can possibly imagine. No matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, He loves you more than you can possibly imagine. And the proof to me is that you're still alive and you're still able to hear the message of truth and love. Because when the breath ends and the heartbeat stops and the brain stops functioning, that's the end of the game. That's the end of the story. And there's one of two places that I'm going to wind up. Anyway, the truth is murdered in a multiplicity of words. May God richly bless you with an awareness of His true presence. He's ever present all the time. I'm not getting away with anything. He sees everything. He hears everything. He can read my mind. And He can read yours too. And He sees everything you're doing and everything you're not doing. And everything you're saying and everything you're not saying. So be warned. But here's the upside. The upside is that developing a relationship with God on His terms is the most wonderful experience that you will ever have. Better than any relationship. Better than any material good you can possibly think of, regardless of how much wealth you're looking to have. He is the treasure that is spoken of in the scriptures, and He is well worth giving up everything for. Anyway, God really loves you. Believe it and take action based on that truth. Thank you.